What's up, friends? Welcome back. Who am I kidding, right? You know what day it is. Today we are going to tie this little upside down shrimp using some spay feathers and a little bit of coq de leon and some rubber legs and all sorts of good stuff. Talking about good stuff, I can't wait till this year winter is over. Usually I like winter, but I have so much stuff in the pipeline for you guys, so I can't wait for spring to arrive so I can lift the veil what I have been doing all winter and been planning, and all sorts of cool things coming your way. So yeah, why don't we just do as usual and start tying this little fly. Okay, let's get this started. Put on some tying thread. Now this is an upside down shrimp, as mentioned, so you want to put a bit of weight on the hook, and the easiest way to do that is just to flip this back around like that. Cover this up a bit where you will be putting the non-lead wire. Just get some on here. You want to put it on to this point right here if you want it to keep the right way up in the water. So I will be putting one piece on the bottom half on one side, now if you have a really strong thread like mine here, you can cut your lead wire with the tying thread, which saves a lot of time. Get something on the other side as well. Just on one half, if you know what I mean. I hope you do. Might have to work this a bit. There we go. Make sure that sits. Look at this. If I just pull the thread here, goes straight through that non-lead wire. Then I want to put on a small piece so that it lies on top of the two pieces, and then just not quite as long, kind of like this. Now this one you can't be cutting with the thread, so I'll just be snipping it off like you just saw. Get this nice and secure. Maybe even give it a dab of super glue. That. And then just turn the hook back up like this. Let's check my focus here, looking good. Okay, then take a mallard feather, push the fibers back like this and cut off this point. This will help the fibers to be a bit more uneven. when you tie them in. So if you cut out a V just like this, get the fluff off the feather here. Then you want to place that V just like this. Get a hold of this, tie it down, and then pull this back. Until you have the length you want. Now this is supposed to mimic, some people call it mouth parts, but to be honest with you, I haven't seen such long mouth parts on a shrimp ever. But I think it looks kind of more like legs and the small claws a shrimp have. But anyway, it kind of helps making it look like a shrimp, so let's just agree on that. Get the thread back up here. Now I kind of want to have a small striking point up here, so I will be adding some of this Angora goat in hot orange. Just a small bump. Up in front here. Like that. Brush it out a bit. Just tie on top of that, so right around there. Then I want to grab one of the mentioned spay feathers. They look like this. This is a grizzly one, which I will be tying in by the tip. Catch that there. You really have to be careful around the hook point here with your thread. This is a strong one, so it will endure a bit more, I guess. Now this tip here you can either cut off or turn it around like this and tie on top of it, so that your hackle is really secured on there. These fibers are so long, so I don't mind tying them back forward like this. Just helps on the overall look of the fly, I think. Then you want to turn this one turn in front of the other. Kind of help them out a bit here. Now it is something else tying like this with the hook point pointing up, and we may be needing a bit of practice, but they are good fun to tie, so I highly recommend trying these. And then just tie or turn until you're satisfied with the amount of fibers. I think I want some of this marabou part here as well. Just a few turns like this. secure it. Cut this end off. Get this around the hook a bit. And then just tie on top of all the wraps you just did. Back up to the tie-in point you made up here. Just like that. Just have to turn this a bit so I can see how it looks like on the other side. That's looking good. Get that back up. Grab a small pinch of this SLF squirrel dubbing, which I love very much. And then make a small ball up here for the eyes to rest on. Because we will be brushing this out. Like that. Brush it out a bit. Now, in my opinion, if you want a shrimp fly to look like a shrimp, you want to spend a bit of extra time on the head part, because that is kind of the thing that makes it look like a real shrimp. So take your time up here, and I guarantee you it will look like a shrimp if you do that. It kind of already is looking like a shrimp, isn't it? Onto some eyes. I just have to turn this a bit out of focus here, guys, so I can see what I'm doing. Like that. Get this a bit down the hook shank. So right around here. This will also help to build up some bulk, so you don't need to blast this with dubbing. Get one on the other side. You could also use these super cool ones from Easy Shrimp Ice. I just think you're kind of limited to a size. If you use them, they don't really fit a size 8 or a 10. I think they are a bit too big for that. So if you are looking, Easy Shrimp Ice, maybe you should make some smaller ones. Get this tied on there as well, nice and secure. Cut that off. Now I want to put on a rib, just some monofilament or fluorocarbon or whatever you have lying around. Not too thick. This is a 0.18 millimeters. whoops. Get that on there. On the bottom here. Make sure it is secured. Then I want to add one of these super cool coq de long feathers for the legs. So I will find the shiny side, turn that so it's pointing towards myself, tip to the right of me or you when you're tying, and you want to strip the top side of the feather just like this. Otherwise I think it gets too fat. So you have a feather looking like this, tied in by the tip here, all the way up to that ball you made there. Oh, this I want to cut off. Get the thread back here to the eye of the hook. Get some dubbing. Remember to make it thicker as you go along, so you want it thin down here, thick up here. Good taper. As I've said so many times before, and you may have heard even more times from other tyers. Thick layer on up here, so you have something to brush out afterwards. I'd rather put on too much and then brush out what I don't want on there. Oh, that is already looking so natural. I guess you could probably fish it like this. Well, not with the hackle dangling up here, but I will be adding a shrimp back to this, but that certainly isn't necessary when it looks like this. Just like that. Remember to leave some space up here for your rib and your shrimp back and your whip finish and all that stuff. Now get this coq de leon here going. Make a full turn up in front. And then tight turns at first, maybe 3. And then you just want to open them up like this so they don't. I should have put on my hackle pliers here. One more turn there. Secure it. Cut it off, super secure it here, like that. Then you want to take your dubbing brush downwards, like this. Kind of dividing the fibers onto each side of the hook so you don't have any on the top part here. Then take some sort of shrimp back here. I'm using one from the Fly company in gray. You can cut these yourself, so you can these come in all sorts of shapes and sizes and colors. I like these ones at the moment. I'll get that on there. Tie it on back here at first. Then get out your rib here. And the first turn is always the hardest, because everything kind of wants to turn on you. Like that. Now I like to rip these so that the distance between every turn is the same. I don't like it when they go from big turns and then they just get smaller and smaller. I think it looks kind of silly. I have done that in the past, but I guess as time goes along you kind of develop your own style, and I think this looks way better, so that's what I'm doing. Secure that rib there. Cut it off, and this shrimp back has some sort of little snip there, which I want to cut off like that. Make a small head down here. Get your whip finisher out and make 2 of those. Like that. Get the thread off. And now you want to be kind of mean to this fly by brushing it out. Just turn this back around like this, and then just give it a good old beating. Really pick out some of this cool dubbing. This back up. That there is one finished spay coq de leon upside down shrimp. Okay, that was it. A really cool little fly which you can tie in all sorts of colors. You don't have to use spay feathers if you don't have any. They are pretty expensive. You can use craft fur or something similar. Why don't you write me a comment down below if you want me to tie one up in craft fur or something else. So that's all for today, guys. See you next week.